Hello and welcome back to the TRAC World Touring Car Championship. My name's Tom, this is the AM class, and I'm going to be guiding you through 3 more action-packed races over the course of the night. We're back at Brands Hatch on the Indy circuit for round number 6 of the championship. This 1.2 mile circuit, again the smallest circuit on the calendar, is going to provide some frenetic and fast action racing. Take a look at the championship standings. TRAC Acctim currently holds the lead by 23 points over TRAC Stug in second, with WA10 Tom just 6 points further back in third. Kraus is missing just 5 points against Tom to get himself in towards the top 3, with TRAC Woody a little bit further back in 5th. 6th is TRAC Vicious. MTG Dingo is sat just 6 points further back in 7th, with TRAC Sabine rounding out the top 8. Before we go racing tonight, we need to figure out where everyone's going to be starting for race number 1, and after the hot lap qualifying, it looked a little bit like this. TKL Point Blank and Griffiths Maximus hold the front row, with ORB Danzilla and championship leader Acctim on row number 2. Row 3 is WA10 Tom and Big Old Mish in the Mercedes, with TRAC Kraus and TRAC Woody filling out row number 4. Row 5 is TRAC Vicious and TRAC Nightmare, with TRAC Stug completing this 11-car field. So now we know where everyone's starting, let's head down to the grid and take a look at race number 1. So we're down on the grid, ready to go racing for the first time tonight as the AM drivers the World Touring Car Championship, and the 5 red lights come on. We'll wait for them to go out, and 4,000 horsepower will be unleashed on the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. Lights out, fantastic start there from the Chevrolet off the outside of the front row. Point Blank stuff to start again, so he's dropping down the order. He's got 2 Mercedes, trying to go side by side with them as Tony and the Chevrolet makes it a Chevrolet 1-2. He's got that Kraus as well, is trying to get in there as there's cars off everywhere already. You've got Nightmare going off towards the gravel, you've got Kraus going wide on the outside of the corner, and Tom sweeps in towards second place. So Point Blank off the start of this one's already dropped down 2 places. Look at the lead that Griffiths in front of them has. Vish is now trying to hold off the Chevrolet of Kraus there. The Chevys definitely look like a decent car to be in this one at the moment. Remember, we do have the restrictions at play, so the top 3 in the championship, Tom, Acctim and Stug, all have a top level restriction on. Means they lose grip off the front and the rear around this circuit. It is absolutely hell as Woody gets shuffled out towards the back end of the circuit, but it seems like at the moment Tom's doing quite well to manage it a little bit. And now he's coming under pressure from Point Blank in towards Paddock Hill for the second time, and the Honda gets in front. So the initial bite of that Chevrolet is definitely starting to fade a little bit as Point Blank gets himself in towards the lead, and he's already coming under pressure from Danzilla a little bit behind with the retro DTM livery. Heading down towards Graham Hill Bend, you've got Vicious not too far away. So this again could quite quickly end up in a 4-car fight, as you've got Acctim and Mish going side by side on the exit of the Druids hairpin. Side by side, Paddock through Graham Hill Bend. Acctim gets the place on Misho. He's straight away trying to make up position for that poor start. The grip penalty really not helping the Honda as Nightmare goes sideways as he tries to go side by side with Mish. Gets the nose down the inside, pushes the Mercedes out wide to touch, and gets the place done. Now you've got Stug and Woody in there. This is the fight to not be last. 2 by 2 through clearways, but yet another lap in the book. Stug trying to hang on against that Mercedes, but he's not quite got the pace to be able to do it. Mish, though, is away and clear. 3 wide into Paddock Hill Bend. Someone's going to have to give. Woody backs out of this one, lives to fight another day. Stug goes a little bit wide, which gives Woody the run he needs down in towards the Druids hairpin. Will he be able to fire the Mercedes down the inside as Nightmare once again goes down the inside of Mish? Can he make the move stick this time as Woody's going to dive bomb the 3 of them? So three cars potentially in 1 corner there. He's still side by side with Nightmare. Gets shuffled out onto the grass. Will he lose the place to Mish? Mish does have the run on him. Heading down through McLaren's and up towards clearways to put yet another lap in the book. Woody goes a little bit wide. Mish is around the outside, but Woody's now got the inside for the next corner. He uses all of the road and a little bit of grass to try and stay on terms with this fellow Mercedes driver, but cannot quite do it. Woody having another crack now at Mish at the back of him, sideways on the way through clearways there. Uses a little bit of a bump and run, little bit of force required to get down the inside of that Mercedes. Side by side, down the main straight isn't really straight. The camera of this road leads you to go right up towards the pit lane, and as you get towards the corner, jink out to take the race in line. Mish, though, just about has Woody covered at the moment, but runs a little bit wide there, has to back out the power. That's going to give Woody the chance to go in towards the Druids hairpin, one of the best overtaking points on this circuit. Down the inside, side by side with the yellow Mercedes, and it looks like Woody's just got his retro DTM car just into the front of Mish, but Mish is trying to come back at him, but he's got no answer to Woody in the Mercedes. Can't quite do it on the way in there. Side by side, though, down the short straight in towards the left-hander, using all of the curb for Mish, and then heading through clearways once again, and it's Woody who gets himself in front. Vicious now right on the back of W8N Tom, so Tom has fallen down the order quite quickly. He already lost the place to Danzilla in front of him. And now he's got Vicious in the Honda just behind him as well, so that's Chevrolet definitely starting to succumb. As Vicious throws it down the inside, he's not going to get that stopped. Goes all sideways, gets a bit of a clout in the back of the Chevrolet. That's going to bring another Chevy of Kraus into this one, potentially. Bring Acctim into this as well. So Tom just hanging on at the moment from Vicious, but that top penalty is starting to pushing down the order. It's not really helping him. But what is helping him is Kraus starting to attack Vicious. If these guys carry on fighting, it might just give Tom the breathing room he needs as Vicious looks more in his rear view mirror instead of looking at the road in front of him, using all of the curb to try and stay in front of the Demon Tweet Chevrolet. Acctim's getting into this as well. He's had a really good run through that corner. Can he go side by side with Kraus on the exit? Doesn't quite have the drive out the corner to be able to get it done. Kraus has a slightly lesser restriction compared to these guys, thanks to sitting in the 4 to 6 bracket of the championship, so he does have a little bit more grip than the cars around him. Vicious though, a little bit more grip than the guys around them again. Down in towards Druids now. Can he close up on that Chevrolet in front of him? Tries to send it down the inside from a long way back. That move was never going to work. I think that was more a scare tactic, try and frighten the Chevrolet in front of him off the road, but it's not really worked there as Kraus thinks about showing the nose in towards Graham Hill, but again he's not close enough to be able to do it. Vicious though off on the grass. Will this give Kraus the chance he needs to get down the inside? It's allowed him to close up a touch, but not enough to get side by side as he goes sideways again. Come on pal, it's the Touring Car Championship, not a Drift Championship. Don't use the handbrake to try and slow the car down, but Kraus had to check up there, and it's Acctim who's going to try and go side by side as Kraus gets a good run out of that corner, side by side with the Honda down the main straight. Will Acctim fancy making it 3 wide? No, not going to go for it there. Vicious on the inside, Kraus on the outside. Vicious gets the nose onto the apex. Kraus goes a little bit wide there. That's going to allow Acctim to come side by side. The championship leader gains a place. It's going to start helping him with his championship lead. These guys fighting over the top 6 position now. As you can see, the guys in front have really started to clear off the top 3. Definitely checked out at the front of this one. Vicious, Acctim and Kraus still trying to fight over it. This is a fight over 4th position here. You can see how quickly the top 3 have shredded away from this one. Kraus though is about as close as he's been to Acctim the last lap or so as Vicious goes sideways once again. Isn't able to get the car stopped, tries to use the handbrake. Is he going to be able to get the car back on the track? Looks like he's just about going to do it, but he's lost the position there to Acctim as he now exits stage right. So that's Vicious off the road and he's going to be tumbling down the order. So Misha Nightmare now going at it, heading towards the Druids hairpin. You can see Vicious just at the back of the shop there, so he did manage to get the car back on. These guys fighting over 9th place at the moment in this race. The fight to not be penultimate for last. Mish though goes a little bit wide as well. He does a Vicious, goes off on the grass, and he loses the position there to Nightmare, heading in towards McLaren's and in towards Clearways. Will he be able to get back on terms of the Audi S3 in front of him? Looks like he's not quite able to. This is about as close as these guys have been over the last lap or so. Acctim, Kraus and Tom. What was a 4-car fight, now a 3-car fight over 4th place. You can't even see the guys that are in front of them. That's how far away the top 3 have gotten already. Tom though runs a little bit wide there on the curve, doesn't quite run close enough to allow Acctim to get a run, but this is about as close as they've been over the last handful of laps. Acctim is going to have to try and throw a massive move to get past at this rate. And in towards Paddock Hill Bend, a little bit of a wider line on the way in there to Acctim. Might give him a little bit of a better run there. He tries to go for it, but now has to defend from Kraus. Didn't get the best exit out there. Kraus locks up, just keeps it at the back of the Chevrolet in front of him. Acctim though lives on to fight another day, doesn't get tangled up in that one. He's now trying his best to get past that Chevrolet, can't quite get it done. Tom takes a lot of curve on the way in there, doesn't get a decent run. That could allow Acctim to close up. Potentially goes side by side through Clearways. The Honda's there, he gets the nose down the inside. Will he be able to complete the move in towards Clearways? No, he's not able to. Acctim having another crack at this Chevrolet now, gets into the back of him, a little bit of a bump to pass. They really need to start clearing this car as you now got Woody, and it looks like another car coming into this one as well. Krauso's thinking about clearing Acctim. Down in towards Paddock Hill Bend, isn't quite close enough to try and throw a move. Acctim closes up on the back of Tom. The Honda's really strong through Paddock Hill Bend compared to that Chevrolet. Acctim throws it to the inside of Druids and finally gets the move done on that Chevrolet. Tom tries to come back but doesn't have an answer to get past that Honda. But the Chevrolet now down 1 position. Will Kraus be able to get past in quick succession? It's normally how we see the overtakes happen here at the World Touring Car Championship, and it's happening again. Kraus straight down the inside of Tom in towards McLaren's and in towards Clearways, using all of the curbs to try and stay on terms of the Chevrolet, but Tom just hangs on a little bit sideways though. Kraus is pushing him, trying to get that move done. Woody takes a lot of grass to try and get past these guys, potentially about to go 3 wide down the main straight, but they all get the power down and all fall back into line. Tom, though, looks like he's going to take a little bit of an offensive line down the main straight, because there's a car off on the main straight there, so might have to have a look and see what happened there. In towards Paddock Hill Bend, Kraus isn't close enough to go for it. Tom runs wide, though. Tom runs off with the gravel. Kraus has got the move done. Will Woody get down this as well? He's been catching the last couple of laps, and Woody gets the move down and done in towards Druids. Awesome move there for the Mercedes driver. Will Nightmare fancy a dive in this one as well, as he's close right up onto the back of this. The Castle Chevrolet falling down the order right now. So now into the closing stage of the race. Tom still trying to find off Nightmare. That car isn't in a real dangerous position. The driver's happy to race on at this point into North Paddock Hill Bend. Woody and Tom both go sideways. Will the Audi be able to throw it down the inside? Yes, he is. Nightmare gets the position on Tom heading in towards Druids. So finally, now we're going to get to see what happens to that car. We knew the car was big old Mish. Now we get an idea, see what happens with him. He's trying to fend off. TRAC stood behind him, heading down the main straight. Mercedes looks a little bit slow there. Oh, looks like a little bit of a laggy hit. Oh, that's a big one. That car's been over on its roof a couple of times. That's a big one for Mish. Coming through the final corner now to record just his second win. He's had 3 poles, and now he's had 2 wins. TKL Point Blank comes down the pit straight and across the line to win round number 16 of the TRAC World Touring Car Championship. Second place went the way of Griffiths Maximus, with LLB Danzella completing the top 3. TRAC Acctim Championship leader finished 4th ahead of TRAC Kraus, TRAC Woody and TRAC Nightmare in P7. Tom ended up in P8. TRAC stood 9th. Last of the runners was TRAC Vicious in 10th, with Big Old Mish being classified in 11th. So as is customary at this point, the second race of the day is going to be a partial reverse grid. This time the random number generator pulled out number 6. So TRAC Woody and TRAC Kraus would head up on towards the front row, with TRAC Acctim, ORB Tanzilla, Griffiths Maximus and TKL Point Blank completing the top 6. Let's head down to the grid and see how this plays out. So we're ready to go racing here again. Race number 2 of the day, round number 17 of the championship. Past the halfway stage, the lights are all on, waiting for them to go out. They do so now. Good start for the Mercedes. The Chevrolet watch it come through the middle. It's already going for it. They're going 3 wide in towards turn number 1. Once again, a Chevrolet gets a really good start outside in towards Paddock Hill Bend. It's another drift championship with the front wheel drive cars. They head through there, but it looks like Tom's just got himself in front. Chevrolet once again leads, heading in towards Druids, but this time it's the Chevrolet of WA10 Tom that dives off into the lead. Woody's there in second place. Looks like Nightmare's got himself in towards third place as well. Behind, they're going 3 wide. The 2 deep into his cars come to blows as they go side by side through Graham Hill Bend, down the short straight, heading in towards the final sector of the lap. Once again, the Mercedes of Woody goes sideways. He just keeps it on the road. That's going to leave him under threat from Nightmare pretty early on in this race. But that's 1 lap already in the bank as TRAC Woody starts to try and go on an offensive to try and get the lead ahead of WA10 Tom. But across the line they go. It's Tom that leads, Woody second, Nightmare there in third place. That's 1 lap completed already of this 1.2 mile circuit in towards Paddock Hill Bend for the second time. And it's a lot of curb there for for Nightmare as he tries to catch up to Woody behind. Takes a little bit of a look in towards Druids. He's not quite close enough. Thinks about a dive as Woody's right on the rear bumper of the Chevrolet in the lead. Looks towards the inside, becomes the outside for Graham Hill Bend. He thinks a little bit better of it, backs off, heading in towards Graham Hill Bend now. Side, nose to tail, the 2 go. Woody goes all over the grass. He tries to use as much track as he can, as I think Nightmare's done the same thing behind. Side by side down the main straight. Looks like you've got Kraus trying to have a run on Vicious in the Honda, trying to make some places early on. You've got Acctim just behind this as Vicious runs a little bit wide. Kraus runs and takes a wide line in. Acctim goes side by side with Griffiths through Paddock Hill Bend, but has to back out of it. Will he take a dive in towards Druids as Vicious locks up? That could give Kraus the chance he needs to get side by side with the Honda, but he's not quite close enough to go for it. Down in towards Graham Hill Bend, all holding station here at the moment. Tom now already pulled a little bit of a lead. He's got Nightmare and Woody going side by side on the exit. Druids, the Audi, definitely quicker than the Mercedes at this stage of the race. Looks like you got Danzella there as well, not too far behind. So Woody's teammate is trying to get in on this fight. Woody runs a little bit wide on the exit of that corner, heading in towards McLaren and towards the final sector. He goes sideways again through there. That Mercedes not too happy through the high speed corners. This could be what the Audi needs of Nightmare to get side by side with him through clearways. He takes a really wide line through there, trying to keep the car on the road. Nightmare takes the tighter line. He's able to get the power down a little bit quicker. Nightmare arguably on the racing line, running it close towards the pit wall, side by side to drag race over the line. If that had been the final lap, Woody would have got it, but Nightmare down the inside of Paddock Hill Bend gets the position and up in towards second place. Woody has to back out of it. There's not really much he could do there. Behind though, his teammates under pressure as well, so it looks like Mish is trying to have a bit of a run at Danzilla in towards Druids. And you can see how close those guys behind have got. Danzilla again following his teammates line through there. Those two retro DTM Mercedes really don't like the high-speed corners at the moment, though. Stug is trying to apply a bit of pressure to Niche in that yellow Mercedes. The yellow Mercedes had a massive off in this part of the track, actually, in race number 1 after a bit of laggy contact with Stug. Hopefully it all stays clean this time. We don't have another incident like that. But Stug right under the rear wing of that Mercedes now, heading in towards Druids. He's about as close as he's been, but Mish now having a run on Danzilla. Danzilla didn't get a really good run through paddock Ben. It looks like the yellow Mercedes just gets the position as Stug dive bombs Danzilla as well. Stug's got one place, he's going to go for a second around the outside of Mish at Graham Hill Bend. He's still side by side with the Mercedes. They both keep it on the road. Really good driving there for the pair of them to keep that as clean as possible. Stug, though, gets the position on Mish, gets 2 places in a couple of corners. Awesome driving there from Stug as he tries to preserve his championship standings, trying to close in on Acctim, who's just a little bit in front of him. Thinking about Acctim, he's under pressure from one of the Demon Tweed Chevrolets, trying to go down the inside in towards Graham Hill, in towards Paddock Hill Bend, sorry. Point Bike's not too far away from them as well. Point Bike sends it on the Chevrolet as well, so the two Hondas get through pretty quickly. The Hondas, though, need to make sure they start working together here. That'd be the smart thing as the Demon Tweed Chevrolet gets itself back in front, a little bit further in front of these guys. Danzilla and Vicious are going at it side by side. Danzilla looks like he's got the move on the 84 Honda, the 21 car, trying to make up some positions, throws it down the inside of McLaren Ben, goes again sideways through there. Those Mercedes really don't like that corner, not quite got the rear end stability set quite right, and it's going to allow Vicious to come around the outside, get the drive down, and potentially, yes, he has got the position done, so Vicious and the Honda manages to successfully defend that move against OLB Danzilla, heading across the line to put another lap in the book, and down towards Paddock Hill Bend once again. A little bit further onto the lap, Mish is all sorts of sideways. The Mercedes again hitting trouble through that corner, and Vicious has run wide. Vicious has gone off in that corner as well, so the Honda not faring too well at the moment. Maybe his tyres are starting to let go, but that's going to give Danzilla the chance he needs to get on terms back again with the Honda after that little bit of a slip slide action down in towards Paddock Hill Bend, though he's not quite close enough. It's going to take a mistake from Vicious as one of the Chevrolets exit stage left and off into the gravel at Paddock Hill. So despite that tail-happy action, Mish managed to pull a little bit of a gap into Vicious, but runs a little bit too wide there. He has to dive towards the inside, potentially to defend a move from the Honda. You can see how much a little mistake like that means in these races. That's allowed the Honda to get right back on terms with Mish. He throws it down the inside of Paddock Hill Bend, one tiny mistake, and there's the Honda up in position of Vicious. That's all it takes in these races. They're so closely fought, especially in the AM class. Nightmare really starting to reel in that Chevrolet in front of him. He's definitely quicker at this point. That gap has closed from around about 2 seconds. It's now about half of that, and you can see how quickly that Audi is catching up to the front of the Mercedes, who might have a grandstand finish here. We might have a decent fight at the front of this for the win of this race. Now it's Danzilla's turn to try and have a crack at Mish in towards Paddock Hill Bend. The two Mercedes not really fancying the high-speed corners. Danzilla, though, gets into the back of Mish just a touch there, enough to make him check up, as it looks like he got one of the other Mercedes. That looks like Woody's going really slowly there, so maybe he's been off in the gravel, maybe clipped the barriers. Looks like something's not quite pointing in the right direction on that Mercedes, as Acctim now is around the outside of Danzilla. Looks like Woody's got it going against whatever fault he has. He seems to be able to drive around it. Now back with the fight at the front, you can see how quickly that gap's come down. Only a handful of laps, and that gap looks about half the size it was about a lap or two ago. Nightmare's done a really good job of catching up, but he's thrown it in the gravel. Nightmare's chucked it off in the gravel. That's going to allow Tom to get away. Is that what he needs to be able to get the win of this race? Vicious and Stug now, two drivers that have trying to fight as hard as possible for as many points as possible. Stug goes to the inside, trying to defend from Vicious. Vicious on a recovery drive after that off in the early stage of the race. Manages to get down the inside of the Chevrolet, a little bit of a nudge, and just about holds the position, but side by side through Graham Hill Bend. Vicious again just keeps it on the road this time instead of running off wide. I thought he was going for a trip to the grass and live up to Honda's lawnmower claims, but he manages to keep it in one piece and keep it on the road. Still hanging on, though, from the Chevrolet. The Chevy's not giving up just yet. Acctim now, his next target is big old Mish in that yellow Mercedes, heading through Druids. The Honda right under the rear wing of that Mercedes, heading down in towards Graham Hill Bend. You've got to think it's only going to be a matter of time before the championship leader manages to get past this yellow lump in front of him, and here's where he's going to go for it, down the mini straight. Mish didn't get a perfect exit out of there. Acctim got a decent one, but the Mercedes sweeps across the front of the nose, slides out wide though, using all of the road to try and stay on terms with him. The stewards may want to take a look at that one as he gains the position, holds on, but Acctim now around the outside. He gets shuffled onto the curb, has to get out of it. He clips the grass actually, but that's allowed point blank to take the position away from TRAC Acctim. The red Honda overtakes the grey Honda down in towards Paddock Hill Bend. So there's a drop there for Acctim trying to gain a position. He's actually lost one. Point blank though, looks like he runs wide now at Paddock Hill Bend. So it's going to be Acctim. He comes back at the Honda driver down the inside in towards Druids. And it looks like by the skin of his teeth, W810 Tom is going to come over the line to record his second win of the Track World Touring Car Championship. Thanks to that mistake from Track Nightmare, he takes the victory in round 17 of the championship. Nightmare did come home second. Vicious completed the podium in third, with Track Stugs in fourth. Big Ol' Mish fifth, TRAC Acctim sixth. Point Blank in seventh. Kraus finished out in eighth. Ninth was Danzilla, and last of the runners was TRAC Griffiths after TRAC Woody ended up in the pits and retiring after that off of Paddock Hill Bend. So the next race is a full reverse grid. Now as you can see there, that's going to promote Griffiths, Maximus and Danzilla onto the front row of the grid. Griffiths though going to be the only driver running without restriction. TRAC Woody as he DNF is going to have to start off the back. Let's head down to the grid and see how it plays out. So for final time tonight, we're down on the grid, ready to go racing, and you can see the spots of rain starting to fall. The track's not wet just yet, but the 5 red lights are on. We're ready to go racing. Race number 3, lights out, away we go. Really good start there from Acctim. He's got the jump already. Mish is going to go through the middle as well, and it looks like, again, for the third time, we're going to have another Chevrolet leading in towards turn number 1, but it looks like it's going to be Kraus that gets the jump at the moment. Just about slotted in behind Danzilla, so lives to fight another day as the rest of the field files through Paddock Hill Bend and down in towards Drew for the first time. A little bit of contact there between Stug and Acctim, and a little bit of wheel spin from the rest of the field as they get the tyres down in these slippery conditions. Mish there in third place at the moment. Good start for him. He's got the 2 Hondas behind him as they run down through towards McLaren's and in towards Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. But it's Danzilla that leads, Kraus in second, Mish third, Acctim fourth. Point Blank rounds out the top 5. Point Blank though looks like he's going to potentially go for the top 4 straight away. He's going to potentially try and have a fight against Acctim here. Stug goes a little bit wide, has to get on the curb and get away from it as Tom has crawled up the order really quickly at the start of this one. Point Blank goes for it down the inside, heading in towards Paddock Hill Bend. Will Stug fancy making this 3 wide? He doesn't fancy it, but he's going to try and follow Point Blank through. Point Blank gets through into 4th place. Acctim shuffled out. Stug potentially going to throw a dive in towards Druid's corner, in towards turn number 2. He's not quite close enough as Tom's under pressure and Woody once again. We saw these guys fighting around Mugello for a win. The fighting down towards the back end of the top 6 at the moment. In towards McLaren's once again. Mish now trying to fend off Point Blank a little bit further behind. Mish uses all of the grass to try and stay in front of him. He ends up sideways though. Point Blank's going to get the run down through clearways. Point Blank gets up to 3rd place, takes the final podium paint position away from that Mercedes as Tom clips the gravel and starts falling down the order. So that's not going to help him out as he tries to claw in on the championship leaders, but it's Point Blank now in 3rd place, Mish 4th, Acctim 5th. Acctim potentially going to try and send it down the inside into Druid. He goes for it, massive lockup from the Honda as Woody's gone down the inside of Stug in towards Druid as well, so potentially double overtake here. Contact, Woody and Stug are off. Woody and Stug are in the barriers. That looks like the end of the day for at least one of them. Maybe we'll get them both carrying on, but I think Stug's going to be out of this one. It looked like he clipped the barriers there, and now Mish and Acctim are side by side in towards McLaren's. Just about holds on. Mish though again over the grass. He needs to be careful not to pick up a penalty as Griffiths has gone through as well. Mish tumbling down the order after a solid start in that Mercedes. It's really not helping him now. The setup of that car potentially not working for him as Tom's again in the gravel. He's going to lose out to Nightmare behind him. Side by side down the main straight, Griffiths versus Acctim in towards Paddock Hill Bend, and it looks like Griffiths just has the place, but he runs wide and Acctim gets the place back. This is why he's a championship leader. He's really quick at getting places back. You can see Tom's completely disappeared there as Nightmare. Looks like he's going to potentially try and have a run on Mish, but Acctim gets in front of the Demon Tweet Chevrolet in towards Graham Hill Bend. Nightmare is right under the rear bumper of that Mercedes, but Acctim hanging on there, trying to potentially chase down the top 3, but you can see the Demon Tweet Chevrolet is coming straight back at him there. Not close enough. Yes, he is close enough. He's got the move down in towards McLaren's, and Griffiths in the 13 car gets himself up in position, gets himself in towards the top 4. Acctim's going to come back at him though. Nightmare in hot pursuit of Mish now as he head down the main straight of that Audi S3. He got past the past the Chevrolet W810 Tom thanks to a little bit of a mistake. Heading through that bottom corner, Mish looks like he's made a little bit of a mistake of his own, and Nightmare's caught right up onto the back of him in towards Druid. The Audi thinks about a dive, he's not quite close enough to go for it. As you can see, Woody in the background managed to get going, so we have lost Doug from this race, but Woody manages to carry on going, and he's trying to make up positions once again, having started from dead last in this one. Nightmare right into the rear wing of that Mercedes in front of him, trying to go side by side down in towards McLaren's bend. He's already side by side, he's already got the move done. The Mercedes, though, contact between the two of them, the pair of them are off now. Will still have the Chevy through? Not quite, as Mish comes straight back on in front of him, has to check up, but Woody's now in this, so what was a 2-car fight, now a 4-car fight straight away. Through clearways, down the main straight. Nightmare, though, is the big benefactor of this one. He does get the place despite that contact. Tom is now going to try and potentially throw it down the inside of Mish, but Woody is already having a look at that car-spun Chevrolet for the second time, using all of the curb a little bit sideways between the pair of them. And Tom goes down the inside in towards Druids against the yellow Mercedes. Isn't quite close enough to get the move done. A little bit of a nudge there by the looks of it. Mish gets shuffled out. He's going to lose 1 place to Tom. He'll lose a 2nd place to Woody as he goes off on the grass. Woody now around the outside of the next corner. Just gets the move done in front of Mish. And Mish is now down 3 positions, having had a solid start. So he's tumbled right down the order. Woody now has his eyes set on W810 Tom just in front of him. He's going to try and get that Chevrolet as quickly as he can in towards clearways to put yet another lap in the book. Nightmare, Tom, Woody, Mish, that's how close they are. Woody goes for it. Woody's going to look down the inside. Tom left the door wide open for the Mercedes. Down the main straight, side by side, not quite close enough to live with the pace of that Mercedes in the straight line, but he's going to try and fancy down the inside of Paddock Hill Bend. Gets the nose in, has a little bit of a look, a little bit of contact sideways between the two Mercedes. Perfect tandem drift in there, but it's not pretty quick in a circuit race. That's not what you want to be seeing in towards Druid Bend. And it looks like Mish is potentially trying to have a crack at Woody. And you've got Vicious now trying to come into this fight as well. So what was a 4-car fight, if these guys carry on fighting, could end up as a 5-car fight. But that's not going to happen, though. It looks like Nightmare's managed to clear off as Mish exits stayed right. And he ends up off the bank. The rain falling a little bit heavier here, and Woody now right under the rear wing of that Chevrolet. The conditions are getting worse and worse as this race goes on. You can see now we've got standing water on the track. So with every lap that ticks by, this circuit is going to get harder and harder to drive, shown by Woody goes wide. Woody goes off, he just clicks the paint on the outside. It's not what you want to do in this condition. They're still fighting over it, though. Tom is still trying to defend from Woody behind him. This is one of the closest fights going on circuit at the moment. There is other stuff happening, but this is one of the closest fights on the circuit. We cannot take our eyes off it. Woody sends it down the inside of Paddock Hill Bend. He's going to get 2 cars in one move. Woody gets 2 cars on the inside of Paddock Hill Bend. Fantastic driving as Nightmare runs off on the gravel, and he ends up down a position against Tom. So Nightmare loses 2 places. Woody gains 2. He's now off the road himself, so loses that place to Nightmare. The roar going off here at Brands Hatch. You can see how dark it's gotten here around Brands Hatch. The rain is properly falling now. The track is absolutely soaked. But Point Blank is now in a Demon Tweet sandwich. He's got 1 in front of him, he's got one behind. He's going off wide though, showing exactly how hard it is to drive in these conditions. The second Demon Tweet Chevrolet, Griffiths, gets through for 3rd place. So now you've got 2 Chevrolets on the podium. So awesome driving there to keep it on the road. But that is what you're going to have to do to try and win this race. And keeping it on the road, coming through the final corner, cutting down the main straight to win his 3rd race in the World Touring Cars. He's ORB Danzilla. 3rd victory for ORB Danzilla across the line at Brands Hatch to win round 18. Kraus comes home 2nd. Griffiths completes the podium in 3rd for the Demon Tweet Chevrolet guys. Point Blank ended up 4th after that off. Woody recovered from the back to 5th. 6th place was Active. 7th was Track Nightmare. 8th was Big Old Mish having 1 race. 2. Tom came home in 9th. Track Vicious was the last of the runners in 10th. And with Track Doug failing to see the checker flag. So after those 3 races, where does that leave us in the championship? Well, let's take a look. And TRAC Acctim has extended his lead to 29 points, this time over W810 Tom, who moves up on 760. The gap between him and Kraus, though, is down to just 3 points on 757. Stug moves down to 4th thanks to that DNF in race number 3. Track Fish has moved himself up in towards 5th place. Track Woody takes over 6th. Track Nightmare 7th. ORB Danzilla after that win moves up to 8th. MTG Dingo rounding out the top 9. So the next time that we see the Track World Touring Car Championship is when we head back onto the continent to head to Le Mans in France. If you like what you're seeing, you want to see more, and you don't want to miss out on the next touring car action, don't forget to hit like, share and subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on our latest uploads. We'll see you at Le Mans.